Welcome to Whiskey's a Journey. My name is Peter Fossiano, and today is Wednesday. It's another episode of Sip It or Skip It. If you're not familiar with this episode, I have all of my whiskeys randomized on my phone. I'm going to spin the wheel, whatever it selects. I'm going to pull it off the shelf, do a quick review, let you know if I'm going to keep sipping on the bottle until it's gone and replace it because I like it, or once the bottle's gone, I'm going to skip buying it and move on to something else. Let's go ahead and spin the wheel and see what we're doing today. I love the anticipation right before this thing stops. Okay, we're doing Woodford Reserve Sonoma Triple Finish. I believe this is going to be, I don't remember what they call the Woodford Reserve special releases, but let me go ahead and grab this out of the closet, pour it, and do a quick review. All right, it's their Masters collection. So here we go. This is the Sonoma Finished. All the information for this whiskey is right here, along with my Sip It or Skip It tallies. It's been a while since I've had this one, and if I remember correctly, actually my initial reaction to this was pretty good. Now, as far as the price goes, I don't know. This is coming across as extremely dark. And as soon as I poured it, I got hit with a tremendous amount of sweetness. Before I get into it, just as a reminder, I do have a June and July giveaway happening. The rules to that giveaway are in the description. I highly encourage you to read those in case you are wanting to support the channel. Unfortunately, this is US participants only. And if you do decide to support the channel, I really appreciate your support. All right, let's get this smells really good. All right, let's get this on the nose so I can start talking about it. It's sweet. Now, as far as the sweetness goes, there's a lot happening here, and it's a little bit difficult to break down specifically what it is that I mean by sweet. So, does it smell like sugar? I wouldn't say that it smells like sugar. If you were to open a container of sugar and smell it, it does smell a little bit like cotton candy. And I think cotton candy is nothing more than just food color dyed spun sugar. So it does have a little bit of a sugar cotton candy note. On the other hand, another sweet note that comes out is fruit. So I do get a fruit sweetness. It smells grapey to the point where, like, I'm just throwing out a brand name, Welch's grapefruit juice. And then if I had to throw in a third type of sweetness, way in the background behind the grape juice would be a touch of a chocolate, a milk chocolate sweetness. Smells fantastic on the nose, but I'm not here to smell it, I'm here to taste it. So let's go ahead and get that first sip down. Cheers, everyone. Oh, wow. Not a lot of times do I get this specific note in a whiskey, but this comes across as a mocha coffee. There is a chocolate, a milk chocolate note that I was getting way in the background, and maybe since that was the last thing that I got on the nose, when I tasted it, it was the first thing that came to mind when it hit my palate. The grape juice is there, the cotton candy is there. It's very well rounded. I would say that it has a pretty good amount of sweetness and no spice to talk about right, at least that first sip. I don't really get a whole lot of spice at all. It's dominated by all of those sweet notes. My initial impression with the finish, it's rather short. So let me go ahead and get that second sip down. Concentrate a little bit more on the notes, see how it finishes, see if it increases it, because you can't really trust that first sip, and then we'll move on to whether or not this is going to be a sip or a skip. Second sip, everyone. Second sip was a little bit drying, not a little bit drying, it was a lot drying. It sucked the moisture off of my tongue. That milk chocolate note has now turned to a bitter dark chocolate note. The grapey note is now a little bit more dominant as well. The cotton candy sugary note has gone away. And I would say that there is a little bit of a barrel tannin now starting to form on the side of the tongue. That first sip was much better than the second sip. This thing has done a complete 180. I was not expecting that at all. Let me go ahead and get a rinse of water here. Maybe something funky's going on with my palate right at the moment. Get a third sip in and then give you a better idea of what I actually think of this. All right, here we go for the third sip. I mean, it still smells good. It does smell like a mocha coffee. It just doesn't come across on the palate that way, at least that second sip. Let's get that third sip in. Okay, third sip, after I rinse my palate a little bit with some water, that grapey note is now standing out. It still is really drying, and that barrel tannin on the side of the tongue is starting to creep up a little bit to the not so pleasant feeling. It's well-rounded, nothing is coming across as too sharp, but the flavors are not connecting. It's a pretty disconnected type of notes that are coming through. And I know this is gonna sound a little bit strange. It overpowers the tongue with all of those notes, but they're in conflict with one another. Does it want to be sweet? Does it want to have that sugary fruit note? Or does it want to be a little bit more coffee, mocha, dark chocolate, milk chocolate kind of thing? It's just throwing everything at me, and it's not a very cohesive type whiskey that I'm enjoying. So based on all of that, you're probably going to know this is going to be a skip for me. And I do need to say that first sip was really good. And if it stayed consistent with that first sip, I think this would be a sip. But because it doesn't really mingle together with all of the different flavors that I'm getting, it has to be a skip. And especially for the prices, $155. I'd be curious to hear from you. Let me know in the comments down below. So that's going to do it for me this week. If you've made it this far, wherever you're at in your journey, I hope you're enjoying it, and we'll talk to you guys later.